few short updates from things that we discussed at the last meeting. So in terms of psychosocial support, something that we had wanted to do but hasn't happened yet this term is finding that designated part-time social worker, one for Khayelitsha, one for Lavender Hill, and also looking at putting in team wellness days and looking at the medical aid. So there's a whole lot around the kind of support, psychosocial support for the team that hasn't happened in the fullness and busyness of the first term, but it's something that Pilla and I will be looking at for the second term and moving on for the rest of the year. So that's just an update about that. And then something else is that Empower, one of our donors, they fund the Girls Club, have selected us to be the beneficiary of an organizational development support thing that they are offering. It's quite an intensive process with an organization that use Enneagram, and they're going to be working with our senior management team doing a 2-day Enneagram workshop. Then they'll do for those that are familiar with Enneagram, it's like a kind of a personality profiling model that can be used for personal and professional development and for teams and organizations. And each member of our SMT will get to do this very in-depth questionnaire, and they'll get their Enneagram profile. And then there's 6 one-on-one coaching sessions with each person, and then another 2-day workshop. And so that will probably be starting from May, because we wanted to do it once we'd found the new training and program development person. And it was actually good timing, because doing kind of leadership development work with the SMT was something that Pilla had wanted to do this year. So it's a very, we're very lucky to be the beneficiary of this, because I think it's probably a very costly thing that Empower are sponsoring us to be the first beneficiary of. So that's great. And then just a little update around when I spoke about just now about the leave policies and the policy work and workshops that we did with the team at the beginning of the year. One of the things that we spoke about was I did a presentation around not wanting to be the kind of organization that like people have to clock in and clock out, and we have to count hours, and they get like a 45-minute lunch break. That we didn't want to operate in that way, that we wanted for them to have more freedom and flexibility in terms of their time, but that in order to do that, firstly, there's a huge amount of trust that's needed, and secondly, that the monitoring and evaluation and reporting, and that there were certain things that they would need to do in order for this approach to work. And then when I opened up the board dashboard to get ready to send it to you for this board pack, noticed that there was just huge amounts of data missing, and spoke to Pilla about it. And basically most of the team members had not logged all of their data for February and for the first 2 weeks of March. And they'd been reminded multiple times, and they'd had opportunities to contact Ram and Pilla. And so so we decided that without this new approach, it needed to be a bit of tough love, and they needed to know that they would be held accountable for kind of not showing up for their side of this deal. And so I think 6 members of the team were issued with a verbal warning, and given until this past Tuesday to log all of their data. I think pretty much all of that has been done, but it was just to share that that's something that happened. And I think that hopefully it will shift now, and the team members will start kind of stepping up and taking more responsibility for data logging and report writing and deadlines and things like that. And otherwise, Pilla and I have spoken about kind of being a bit stricter and holding them accountable to those deadlines.